Well, welcome back, guys. Got another cup of coffee, fresh brew, and a bit of confrontation again today. Before there was a drought for a year and there's no videos, and now you got all three for each day. So I hope you're enjoying those, and thank you so much for everybody who's commenting and coming back and watching the videos. I don't expect this channel to be a big channel at all, and that's not the intention. Like I said, it's mainly for me to either keep up with my hobby, get some stuff painted, promote some people's work that I really like and respect and enjoy what they do. And if I can provide a little, slice of entertainment and some enjoyment through your week while you do your own painting and hobby, then all the better. So today, my good friend Sylvano in Canada, he sent me through a commission, and he also sent me this as a wonderful gift, and I thank him so much for that, because from his previous Kickstarter last year that I did a little promo video for him on, but his Kickstarter video was much better produced than mine. But it showed off these wonderful miniatures sculpted by, and I'm not going to say their names because I don't know exactly who sculpted what, but the same sculptors who sculpted the miniatures back in the day that Rackham was an existing company, and each sculptor was assigned to a certain faction or race, and that's my understanding of it anyway. And he and Sylvano commissioned those artists to produce some models for him for a Kickstarter, which I would imagine would have been a very costly adventure, and I think that maybe he's just broken even with the Kickstarter funds that came in and people who had purchased his models, which is great, and helped support Cernunnos Studios with his creations. And he also got some painters like Martin to paint models for him, and various other painters from that era. So it's a really cool project to see. And these were all sort of female-based warriors and heroes for all the different factions. And I really like the dwarf Khor on boar. So here she is with a goblin head in her hands as well, if you can see that. So hopefully that's coming through nicely on the camera in focus there. But yeah, it's a really nice looking model, really beautifully detailed. And now normally I don't buy resin models. I'm a big fan of metal. And I love my eavylead, as my painting commission company would allude to. So yeah, I love metal models. I love them in metal, if preferably, but because I can totally understand nowadays why people would go resin for shipping costs, especially if you're doing something like a Kickstarter, and the cost of metal rising and all that. So I can totally understand why. And but yeah, this is not 3D printed. It's been sculpted by hand by an artist, and then that green has been then produced, or that Fimo model or whatever has been molded up and produced for production. It even comes with a nice scenic model base, and even the boar itself is a really nicely detailed model. Comes in several parts, and last night I was assembling his commission, and I thought, yeah, I'll throw it together and stick it in the video so people can see it. At least, I don't expect many other people on YouTube to showcase these models. So if I can try to get more eyes on their product. And Cernunnos Miniatures have got a range of stuff that if you support it, he'll create more. Basically, that's the philosophy behind many of these small industry businesses out there. That's kind of someone's second job, hobby job kind of thing. So that's wonderful. So apart from that, he sent me some drones. There are 4 of those. So these are the 4 morphines, and I've assembled those and used some of my Tamiya epoxy putty to fill in the gaps and all that kind of thing. I can't stand miniatures that have gaps on them. That's just one area where I think that's just, if you see a big gap on a model and you just painted it, looks terrible, just ruins the whole effect. So they've been all sealed up and gap filled and everything. So I'm looking forward to painting these guys. I was never really a big drone fan back in the day, but I did pick up some of the models back in the mid-2000s when they first were announced. Looks like this is maybe a warrior mage figure. I couldn't find these models in the catalogs actually, which is a shame. And this one also looks like a hero or character. I don't know. Again, I can't identify them in the catalogs. I need to go through either what are they called again? I haven't been there for so long, but there's a site on the web that has all the cards and everything. I can't remember what it's called now. This is how long I've been out of it, guys. This is so long, so I'm just out of touch with everything now. And I know this is a character. Sorry, I don't know his name, but a Durs or Scorpion faction character. Probably Confrontation 2, around that era, I think. You can definitely see the size and scale difference changed over the years as well. They became more slighter and more just more delicate looking models, and I think the earlier models were much more robust, and a lot of them came in like single piece models as well. So yeah, but yeah, very, very detailed model. Look forward to painting that as well. I've got to just ask Sylvano what kind of color scheme he wants them done in, like for the basing as well. Does he want sand basing and stuff like that? Talking about catalogs, this is probably the earliest one I have, 2003. I didn't buy it in 2003. I bought it way later. But it's interesting for me to look at this because I was listening to Martin and me and Martin's interview. I won't say his last name. I heard him say it. I thought I'm going to memorize that now. But you know who I'm talking about, Mr. G, Martin G, and painting extraordinaire. And I listened to that interview again, and I, of course, got facts wrong in my last video. Of course, Martin painted a lot of the dwarves, and I thought I'd talk about a Sebastian. I thought there was a Sebastian as well that painted a lot of them. But, you know, just to give you an idea of, you know, we talked about contrasting styles. This is kind of like the 90s GW, you know, very, very vibrant, saturated colors. And then you go to something like this or this, where it's much more subdued, much more natural. You can see it more evident here, these guys here, where they've just dialed up the saturation to a level, like contrast to 11, and then you've got, you know, things that came out later with a different painting style, much more subdued colors, which I like a lot more actually. I find that subdued look much better, even though I'm a big fan of the 90s color schemes. As you know, I paint a lot of that in my during, you know, for work or for hobby or whatever. So I like both, and I found it very interesting as a painter to go between the styles, learning a different style, and it's just interesting for me because that's what really, you know, got me down the route of going into Rackham's was not only the miniatures and their design and how different they were from everything else I'd seen, but the painting. So now, the question for you guys, was there a catalogue before 2003, or was this their very first catalogue? Maybe there's, because it was formed in 1996, as far as I understand. Rackham as a company with Confrontation 1 and all their miniatures and everything. So, yeah, please let me know in the comments. I'll go through some comments too later, a little bit later as well. But yeah, that's just a quick look at one of the catalogues very early on. I actually picked up one of these guys, but I realised, much to my disappointment, that there are parts broken off it. And I'll show you that in another video at some other point, but I was really disappointed about that because I was so looking forward to getting this War Troll. I don't think it comes with the Vigil Watch Goblin at the back, or the Watch Goblin, or whatever he is. He's like a little rear guardsman goblin. But yeah, really disappointed about that. I painted this guy recently, last year, and that was fun to do. There's my deer goblins. Brings a tear to my eye now that Sylvano has those in his hand. But again, I'm happy that it's gone to a good place. And the guy who gifted me this actually was dating my sister at the time. He was a good friend of mine, and he actually got me into Rackham really early on, like during first edition. And I sort of came, like, you know, left it, came back, not even knowing what it was. But as we had a big falling out anyway, I'm sort of glad I just got rid of it, because when I think about this, I think about him, and maybe it's best that we part ways. So yeah, but these are really early sculpts. These are really, you know, really early sketching designs and concepts, and they've sort of evolved and changed over the years, haven't they, the goblins? Talking about Jerry from the End of the World Gaming, a great channel. Go and check it out if you want to look at Confrontation battle reports, as he does a whole heap of those, if not completely full of those. But he very, very kindly sent me these last year, and I really hope to get those on the table. I said to him yesterday in a message, he commented yesterday, and they're still in the box. And he also sent me maybe some of these guys as well. I think they were trackers or something. So I do actually have another faction. That's orcs. I do have something there that I can put together and throw on the table. A guy in Australia messaged me to say, you know, would you be interested in this large, I think he had a wolf, and no, it was Celtic faction, but I passed on it because I just thought it was really cheap. But I thought, you know, when am I going to get a chance to paint all this stuff? It's nice to have, and I get that. I get the collecting aspect is really important for people, but it sort of kind of depresses me when I have all that lead there and it's not painted. I really want to get it painted. This guy I'm still looking for, Magnus the Mystical. He's my favourite dwarf of the entire range, and I don't have him. I'm looking for this guy too, the Warrior Mage. I've been hunting for those and never got them, unfortunately. And this guy, I think Urin's Son, will be another one for me. At least you can play them in the game, in Confrontation. A lot of the big characters, like this Tan Khor guy, the Living Legend, well, you can't use them in Confrontation unless you're playing a massive, you know, point game, AP point game. So they're really meant for Ragnarok. These have eluded me, and I feel very envious of anybody who has those, because they're beautiful, beautiful models, and very, very difficult to find. And yeah, at some point I'll get these guys as well. They're a lot easier to find, those Khor warriors. I love them with little shields with different profiles. Though I've got all these. I've got these two guys. I've actually got double of those. I've got two of each, and I need to paint those. But I do love my dwarves. The boars, I don't have any of them, and at first I didn't really like them. I mean, in the game, they're just really, I mean, they're very cheap. You can get a whole ton of them because they're unarmored and they've got very low resilience. I think, no, the armor's like, defense is really low or resilience is really low, one of the two, or maybe both. But now looking back at them, not with a nostalgia eye, but just looking at them as miniatures, I really do like the character on these faces, especially this guy. He looks like they look like the sort of troll slayers of Confrontation, really, don't they? If you use that as a reference to like Games Workshop, you know. I don't have any of these guys, the Bombardier guys, so maybe one day I'll get those. Wolven have never been a real attraction to me. Oh, here he is. Salius. Yes, I can't pronounce half their names. This is the first Durs guy I painted many, many years ago. I think Sylvano has that one now too. I think he bought all my guys. I love these guys. Absolutely love the Skorazi warriors, and I love my Karatas warriors. Love them. And yeah, one day again, I'll get into my Scorpions, because I do like those a lot. And there's my beloved Midnor dwarves. Love these the most. The Scourge warriors are my favourite models in the entire range. Really, really like those models a lot. And these are beautiful too. Just the warriors, the first edition ones, really nicely painted too. Undead are probably my favourite faction. I think I told that to Martin in our interview. And here she is. This is Azael the Unfaithful. That's the one I need to paint for Tristan. And yeah, just love the undead. Love the undead. I thought they were just so cool. And again, maybe a faction I'll revisit sometime way in the future. Once I've got a lot of other hobby goals completed, I can start looking at collecting a few blisters here and there and putting together a really cool undead army. That's probably the faction I'm really looking forward to getting started at some point, because these guys, the Morbid Puppets, were just the best. And I did have some of those way back in the day, but of course that all got sold off before I came to Japan. There's the Great Crane. That's another project I'll be working on very soon, because I'm almost finished the lions off and I can start on him. I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, so much character, wonderful designs. I've still got my Fire Elemental, thank goodness. And I painted these Familiars of Water for Sylvano last year, and I painted these as well, the Familiars of Fire. I really enjoyed those. I love the Familiars. And I think I've still got the Familiars of Earth left. I think I've still got these guys, I think. I could be wrong, maybe I've got none left. But I think my dwarves need Earth as their elemental to use these guys. But I think it's quite sad. You're kind of having to, I think you have to, they're kind of like your minion subjects for the mages, but then they just get used for mana gems, and that's pretty much it. I think they have a pretty much a tormented life in Confrontation, and they don't really last very long, but they're beautiful, beautiful models. I really, really love them, especially the ones of Death, the Familiars of Darkness. They're great. And the scenery. Now, I do have some of this stuff at home still that didn't get taken over because of the weight, and I don't really need it so much. And there's all the other stuff and the mail order stuff. If you got those, I think I gave one of these to Paul, the Midnors of Sentinels of Midnor. I think it was these two, 1 and 2, the ones I got out of the deal. So lucky for him, he's got some very rare models. Tanith, that was my username on the old forums, the great forums that were in 2006, 2004 or something like that when they were around. Tanith was my username there for a very long time, as I obsessed about this model. Again, painted it, sold it to Sylvano. It's a very recurring story, this, isn't it? If you ever go to Sylvano's home, you'll see a lot of my painted stuff in there, of collections of in the past and in present. And these, never saw them in the flesh. Never saw these giant, resin statues. Never saw them, but I really like this one a lot. Both of them are really cool. But yeah, there's some nice painted samples at the back. So there you go. That's 2003, and there was the guy that was, is it Drac Seros or something like that? That was part of the Ragnarok limited edition miniature. And beautiful, I think it's Mira, isn't it? Another one I need to get, actually. Yeah, she's a cool character. Okay, well that's the, I don't know why, I just went on a bit of a sidetrack there. But of course, we have some miniatures to paint. So we've got this guy, and I want to continue with him today, in a bit of a splatter natter with you guys. So I'll just pause the camera, we'll come back in a minute, and get some paint on this guy. Just threw a whole heap of colours on my palette, so I wouldn't have to go back and forth getting them again over and over and over again. So I can start, just put a wash on this guy's face just to give him some more definition before start highlighting it up. Had a great look at the video with me and Martin in our interview yesterday, and we also chatted about stuff as I got him these magazines that he was after. So he was very happy about that, which is great. And yeah, it's an interesting reflection, because I haven't listened to that interview. Well, it would have been very close to a year ago, because it was just before Christmas last year when we did that together. And still one of my favourite interviews to have done for the Crown of Command podcast. So really, really nice to have managed to ask him on. And I know he was a little bit hesitant, not being a native English speaker, that he was worried that people wouldn't understand what he said. I can perfectly understand everything he said, so I don't think that's such a big barrier for me anyway. But yeah, it was great just to make contact with the guy, and he needed some magazines for his modelling thing that he does with his big mecha models and stuff he collects, and they're just not available outside of Japan. So luckily I had I don't normally have a credit card, so I do everything by cash here generally, or debit. So luckily I had a card here that had some finances on it, so I could do that for him, and so pre-ordered it. So he's very happy, which is good. It's another Christmas gift for my friend Martin there, and he's looking forward to coming back to Japan one day. As I know he really enjoys visiting here. I will try to put some music in the background too for this video, guys, because otherwise you get to hear the background noises of what's happening in my neighborhood, or it's just dead silence, which is not all that nice to comfort you when you do your hobby. But just the comments on my YouTube channel, just go through those as I sort of paint away. We've got KTG8030, because I know him from the Crown of Command channel. So thanks for popping over, mate, and having a look, because he's also wanting to jump back into Rackham and Confrontation. And he saw my review, it wasn't the best review really, of the terrain that you can get. I think it's through THM, and I should have checked that before I started talking about it, but again, names and companies and all this kind of stuff of people, I've sort of just lost track of in the last year, just not being focused on anything related to the community and companies and everything. So, but he was commenting that he said thanks for the video, because he's looking for some terrain for his Confrontation games when getting back into it. So he's going to go and contact Thierry over in Canada about getting some nice terrain packs. And I've got to say, and you know, I'm not saying this just out of kindness, they were really well packaged and really well delivered, and they're beautiful pieces. And he actually threw in a couple of small extra bonus pieces for me, which is very kind of him. He didn't have to. And yeah, I was really happy with that, and I hope to invest in a few more bits and pieces for the Ragnarok range, as there's a very nice tower piece there that's got like multi-leveled, which would be nice, because everything's sort of now on the ground level, and I think terrain's kind of important, even though it doesn't seem to play in a massive important game in terms of the rules of Confrontation, I've got to say. But then I've got one of the Cry Havocs here with the gaming aids, and they've got terrain cards, so you can use cards, and they have different effects for different certain pieces on the board, which is a much better way to play. So we'll have to experiment using those. We haven't done them yet. I think they're called Nexus cards from memory. It is starting to flood back. So I was saying to Paul we should try those one day, as it just gives that sort of, it just gives some meaning to some of the elements on the board, rather than just being a more of just an aesthetical piece, rather than than an actual functioning piece that, you know, has some importance and does something. So I'm glad that that review got you in touch with a great company and creator out there. Thierry's an incredibly good painter too, and you can buy beautifully painted models from his website as well. I'm very envious of his skills. He's a very talented guy. And a name from the past, Michael Gray, 1351, commented, "It lives, it lives." It does, mate. So, fellow Aussie, and good to see you here, mate, because I think Michael has known me long enough to know that I've been through the throes of, will I even bother doing this anymore? You know, will I quit it? And I've sort of been to the point of just quitting it and just selling everything and just moving on. But it's an old mistress of mine, old Rackham and Confrontation. I find it very hard to let go. It's been a big part. It's actually been a big part of my hobby life, and as sad as that might sound, but I did spend a huge chunk of my painting and hobby time painting and learning how to paint, how to really paint, I've got to say, miniatures, because it really turned, like I said to Martin, it just turned everything upside down for me, looking at this style that Vincent Fontaine sort of implemented, and the guys sort of followed through and, you know, cohesively formed this new style that yeah, just blew my mind. So it was like a whole new way of painting, and very atmospheric and very, very different from what it was before. And I love the models, and even if, and I wasn't playing the game, and I tried it, I attempted it a few times, and it just wasn't working for me. And I just don't think I had the time to commit to learning all the rules, and I found the rule book a little bit unintuitive. And I just needed someone, if I had someone there to show me how to play the game, they knew how to play the game, they said, look, okay, let's play, and they showed me everything, then I would have really got into it. But I just didn't have that. And I just didn't have another person apart from Simon. I used to game with Simon Hooker, a really good painter as well, and very active during the days when Rackham were around. Yeah, we tried hybrid, we tried Confrontation, and I think we tried Confrontation. I know we tried hybrid, and that's how I met Simon, actually, through the Wargamer AU website, and he proclaimed that he had a very nicely painted set of hybrid, the board game, and, you know, looking for players on the Gold Coast, and that's where I was, and I thought, you beauty. I finally found someone, just one person, who was actually, you know, then playing and painting Confrontation. So that's how we met. We're still friends to this day. He recently came to Japan with his family on a big vacation. So it's just a shame I didn't know about it, and we just had no chance of meeting up. But I haven't seen Simon for a good 11 years now. Since leaving the shores of Australia to start a new life, as it were, in Japan, where I'm based now. And then I've really got to sell it to somebody like Paul to say, hey, you know, let's try this, let's give it a go, let's play it. So if it wasn't for Paul, I don't think I would be doing this at all. I don't think, because he really is the only person who's given it a shot and made fun of all the horrible translating of the rule book, but we've battled through it. At least he's enjoying hybrid for what it is, and it's good to know that. And Tristan told me about that yesterday. That they're coming out with a new hybrid board game from Monolith Games, isn't it, in France? So that's very encouraging to hear, and I hope I hope that the miniatures will be nice, or at least if I can use my metal miniatures in that board game, that'd be even better, because I'm a little bit worried that they're going to be these horrible plastic PVC type models that will be very uninspiring to paint. So now, not that I've ever had and painted a monolith model, but I've seen the Conan models, and yeah, let's just say that I'm not overly excited about that. But having said that, I've painted a lot of Song of Ice and Fire models. Vincent Fontaine would know all about that, because he's the guy in charge of all that plastic engineering and everything. I think he works in China, as far as I know. But they have got better. You know, they've gotten a lot better than they used to be. They're not these, you know, warped, wonky, distorted looking miniatures like they used to be in board games. They're terrible. So at least they're getting better. They're paintable. That's what I'm trying to say. They're certainly not collectible. I'm not interested in collecting PVC models. Only metal models, really. So let's just hope that they have a decent range, or they bring them out in hopefully resin or something. You know, a material that's worthy of you know, this range, this time in history of Rackham. Let's see what they do with it. At least they're doing something with it. At least someone's got it, and you know, it looks to be in safe hands in that a company that has enough assets and equity behind it that it's not going to go under, and Rackham's not going to, and this license is not going to sink them. So, but it has been a curse, that's for sure. So thanks for touching base again, Michael, and I hope you're still painting, mate, because Michael's a good painter, and I remember his Devourers that he was painting up. They look very, very nice. We do have an Australian Confrontation group that is completely dead. No one ever posts on it. But at least Michael there to keep it. I should start posting up these video links and saying, hey, we're back, you know. And yeah. So that was Michael. Who's next? New subscriber, Aaron Scribenek. So thank you, Aaron, for subscribing. Appreciate it. Now, is it Kale Grafstrom 5865? Nice, vid and lovely paint jobs. Paul Bonnet actually lives in Copenhagen in Denmark these days, not very far from where I used to live before moving to another part of the city. Okay, and he asked if I should get him onto the podcast or get him on here or whatever. That's definitely my intention, as I know Jordan Sorcery has had him on now. Not that I'm jealous at all. I've been trying to contact Paul, but he never replies. You know, that's totally understandable. He's a busy guy, and you know, who the hell am I? So I totally understand that. I think you've almost got to be in a circle of people that you know, that they know someone and they know somebody else, and to get these interviews from these guys. But Paul would be certainly one of the people I would love to entertain in talking to, as one of those other great interviews of in the history of the podcast. It'd be great. Really love to just sit down with Paul. I think he's like I said, I loved his early work for Games Workshop. I fondly remember that a lot. I think even in Martin's interview, I had the Bad Moon Battle Wagon and the Bad Moon, you know, Big Boss and Orcs and stuff like that on there that Paul did for 40k Road Trader. And then all the incredible art he did for Rackham was, I think personally, is like his greatest achievement. But maybe he has different views on that. But yeah, I'd love to talk to him. Let's see what happens. Let's see what 2025 brings. But I'm not holding my breath. That's been the case for a lot of, a lot of the bigger names in the industry. Yeah, they just don't reply. So, but that's okay. But thanks, mate, for your comment. I appreciate it. End of the World Gaming. Good old Jeremy. I regret being view number 70. Don't regret that, mate. I'm glad that you're watching it and you're hopefully enjoying the videos, and there's something out there related to Confrontation out there for you, mate. He also says, I'm watching and I'm sketching up a 1K list for orcs for Ragnarok. Awesome. I'll be looking forward to seeing hopefully a video of you presenting that 1K list, mate. I miss your videos, I must say. Then Martin replied yesterday, hey mate, thanks for the highlight and your help with the Volks magazines. I worked on a little painting guide for the ogre, but this one is an 8 hands painting model. So it sounds like, he painted the sort of the main body, and the other painters painted the goblins and the cannon on top, and it was like a group of people working on one thing, which is really interesting. So thanks again, Martin, for your insights. I really enjoyed that, and I think other people enjoyed that too. Hearing that firsthand from someone who was there, it's nice. Yeah, so thank you very much for the comments. I appreciate it. I really want to get more people, interacting with the channel and talking to me and conversing that way. And if we have enough people on, or regardless of that, we might do some live streaming. I do like live streaming. It saves me a lot of time editing as well. And that way I can get to hear from you in real time. And I'll just do these little, natter splatters and get some work done. Either on commissions or personal stuff. But it does feel good to put some paint on some of my own models. Mind you, I've been really enjoying painting those lions up, and I can't wait to get the paint on that Acheron model. And this is one of the reasons why I've been avoiding all of the sales and trade groups on Facebook, is that I do not want to go down another rabbit hole and plunge myself into credit card debt, or have a stockpile of miniatures that it's just not worth entertaining the fact of starting a new project. It's about getting stuff finished, and these dwarves are going to get done, and that 1000 AP list is going to get done one step at a time. And I think for most people, unless you're very, very wealthy and you can, send stuff to here, to eavylead painting studios to get painted, very few of us get to achieve everything we sort of hope and dream to doing in the hobby, and that's only fair enough. Only so much you can do, so many hours in the day. I'm just putting some blends here on the armor and just sort of working on that. I'm enjoying just working in very, very small spaces and just building up some highlights. I've had to put the light on. It's quite grey outside. It's not sunny at all today, because to my surprise, and I think to many people too, it actually started snowing here, which is really early. It doesn't usually snow until February. It's not that cold, like I haven't got the heater on or anything like that. It's just a really weird kind of day, and yeah, it's very grey, very bleak. And I think it's snowing. Maybe. I haven't got my glasses on to see. But yeah, it's very unusual that it should be snowing at this time of year. But it's nice. Being so close to Christmas, let's hope we get a snowy Christmas day. That'd be wonderful. But if you have any questions or comments or something related to anything really, confrontation, hobby, painting, about me in Japan, about future stuff, projects, whatever, just let me know in the comments and I can read your comment in the next video. And I think we're almost up for today, guys, because I've got a lot of other stuff to do. Not just for Confrontation, but I've got a new channel that I'm working on, and I want to put some content up on that today. And I've got my Crown of Command Patreon video to make as well today, and I've got my 30 minutes of that to do. So that's why I think these 30 minutes a day is really helpful, because then I can see across the board I'm getting better work on that, better work on this, and making some new content, which is great. Hopefully the discussions are interesting. That's why I really want your guys' comments and feedback and everything to extend the conversations or vary it up a little bit each time I do them. I can't promise there'll be a video every day. Been very lucky getting 3 in 3 days, but yeah, if I have the time I can do it for sure. If I do feel I got 30 minutes, I mean, I was tempted just to curl in front of the heater and turn on the PS4 and play Ghost of Tsushima, but I mean, you know, I could do that, but I wouldn't be making this, would I? So I wouldn't be painting. Got to discipline myself. As much as playing video games is very, very nice to do during the winters because it's bloody cold, and especially in a day like this, I do like days where it's just really cloudy and, you know, cold and miserable, and playing video games is the best time. With a nice cup of coffee, or if you don't need to go anywhere, a nice glass of scotch or something. But again, you know, if you're wondering about the angle and why the hell is he not showing us what he's doing, it's not meant to be a painting video or tutorial. I do run tutorials for painting, part of my Patreon at the Crown of Command. If you want to inquire about that or commissions, then you can do so by emailing me at eavylead, it's EAVYLEAD @gmail.com. And you can see by the intro and the outro, there's a little advert there, so you can always contact me about that, either about the painting lessons or about commissions, and I'll be more than happy to discuss that with you. So, but I think this chestnut ink is working really well on this armor. Actually, I didn't use that before, and I think that's that orangey brown color, so that works really well on it. Okay guys, well I think I want to call it there before the video gets too long and too dragged out. But it gives you some time to add some comments, get some feedback. Here's what he looks like so far. I hope that's coming up on the camera okay, because I can't focus it. And I'm sorry if the lighting's bad. I've got to turn the light on here because the little lamp here, because of how dark it is. But yeah, worked a little bit on the armor today, not a huge amount, but you know, we got some work done. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please let me know. If you like the video, can you please like the video? That really helps to know that I'm doing something good and that you enjoy it. If you've got a comment or feedback, please leave in the comments. I really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, enjoy your confrontation, and I'll see you again next time. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.